Wait, before you click away, do you feel that? That uneasy feeling in your gut telling you something isn't right? Trust it. Because what I'm about to tell you in the next few minutes could be the difference between financial survival and complete ruin. Right now, as you're watching this video, the global financial system is balancing on the edge of a cliff. And here's the terrifying part. Almost nobody is ready for what's coming next. In just a few minutes, you'll discover why the 2026 crash could be 10 times worse than the Great Depression of 1929. And why this time, nobody is coming to save you. Have you ever felt a tiny tremor under your feet? A subtle sign that something big is about to shift? That's exactly what I feel when I look at the global economy today. People talk about market corrections, about downturns, but I'm convinced we're standing on the threshold of something much, much bigger. What if I told you that the crash of 2026 could make the Great Depression of 1929 look like a minor inconvenience? And what's even more alarming, almost nobody is preparing for it. Stay with me, because over the next 10 minutes, I'm going to explain why this isn't just fear-mongering. This is a warning based on clear, flashing red signals that most people choose to ignore. And the main question that should keep you up at night, what will you do when everything collapses? To understand why 2026 could be so different, we need to go back to 1929. The Roaring Twenties were a time of unbridled optimism. New technologies, radio, automobiles, were changing the world. The stock market was soaring to the heavens, and ordinary people were taking out loans like never before to grab their piece of the pie. It seemed like the party would never end. The problem was that this entire boom stood on a mountain of debt and speculation. When the bubble finally burst in October 1929, the system collapsed instantly. Banks went bankrupt. Fortunes evaporated overnight. The world plunged into the Great Depression. The key lesson from 1929 is this. When a system is built on excessive debt and overconfidence, the fall always happens faster and harder than anyone predicted. Now let's fast forward to today. Look around. Sound familiar? We're living in an era of unprecedented technological advancement. Artificial intelligence, electric vehicles, space exploration. The stock market, despite its ups and downs, has reached incredible heights. And debt, well, we've taken the concept of debt to a completely new level. But here's the first major difference between today and 1929. And it's huge. It's the scale of global debt. Back then, debt was mostly concentrated within individual nations. Today, we have a completely interconnected global financial system. Government debt, corporate debt, and personal debt, from mortgages to credit cards to student loans, all of it has ballooned to astronomical figures, far exceeding anything seen in the 1920s. We're no longer talking about one country's problem. We're talking about a global house of cards, where if one major economy wobbles, the entire structure could come crashing down. This interconnectedness means a crisis can spread like wildfire, moving from one country to another in a matter of hours, not weeks or months. Imagine, you wake up in the morning, open your phone, and your savings have simply vanished. Not because of something that happened in your country, but because somewhere on the other side of the world, something broke. The second, and perhaps more dangerous factor, is what I call the everything bubble. In 1929, the primary bubble was in the stock market. Today, it seems like everything is in a bubble. Stocks, real estate, cryptocurrencies, even collectibles like trading cards and NFTs. All of this has skyrocketed in price. This has been fueled by over a decade of near-zero interest rates and massive money printing by central banks around the world. This easy money has inflated the prices of almost every asset you can imagine. And here's what's truly frightening. When the correction comes, it won't just be the stock market that takes a hit. This will be a simultaneous implosion across all asset classes. Imagine your investment portfolio, the value of your home, and your crypto investments, all falling at the same time, right now. This scenario didn't exist in 1929, and that's what makes the potential consequences so much more devastating for the average person. You won't be able to hide. You won't be able to move money from stocks to real estate, because everything will collapse. Now let's talk about the third critical factor, the speed of information and panic. In 1929, news traveled slowly. It moved at the speed of telegraphs and newspapers. People lined up outside banks because they heard a rumor, but it was localized, physical panic. Today, we live in an age of instant information and digital finance. A market crash can be triggered by a single tweet or an algorithmic trading malfunction. Billions of dollars can be wiped out in seconds before most people even realize what's happening. Panic spreads globally through social media and 24/7 news cycles. This digital acceleration means we won't have time to react. The bank runs of the future won't be people standing on the street. It'll be millions of people simultaneously trying to withdraw their money digitally, potentially paralyzing the entire system. The psychological impact of watching your life savings evaporate in real time on your phone screen, that's something the generation of 1929 never had to face. And you won't be able to call the bank. You won't be able to go to an office. The systems will be overloaded. You'll just watch your money disappear, and there'll be nothing you can do. So why is nobody ready? Because of a dangerous psychological trap. Normalcy bias. We've had a few scares. The dot-com crash, the 2008 financial crisis. But each time the system was bailed out. Central banks intervened, printed more money, and propped everything back up. We've been conditioned to believe that someone will always come to the rescue. This creates a false sense of security. People keep pouring money into the market, taking on new debt, assuming the party will continue because, well, it always has. But here's the terrifying question. What happens when the tools that saved us before stop working? Central banks have already used their primary weapon, slashing interest rates to zero. And printing more money now just fuels inflation, making the problem even worse. They're running out of ammunition. And you're running out of time. This is the main reason nobody is ready. We're facing a potential crisis with no clear solution. And the very institutions we trust to protect us may find themselves powerless. Imagine. You're calling, writing, searching for help. But there's nobody to help. Because they're drowning too. What does all this mean for you? This isn't about spreading fear. This is a call for awareness and preparedness. We can't predict the exact date, but we can see the storm clouds gathering. The first step to being ready is understanding the risks. We've talked about global interconnected debt, the everything bubble, and the speed of digital panic. The second step is to look at your own financial situation with clear eyes. Are you over-leveraged? Is your entire financial future tied to one or two high-risk assets? What will happen to your family if everything collapses tomorrow? How will you pay for food, for housing? Now is the time to think about diversification, build a cash reserve, and educate yourself on different types of assets that might hold their value during a downturn. This is about building a financial lifeboat, not just hoping the ship won't sink. The psychology of 1929 was one of unprepared optimism. Our challenge today is to avoid the trap of prepared complacency. Because when the storm hits, it'll be too late to look for a life vest. We've covered some heavy topics today, and I know it can be unsettling. But knowledge is power. By understanding the unique vulnerabilities of our modern financial system, you're already more prepared than most. But are you prepared enough? What specifically will you do tomorrow morning? This isn't a call to panic, but a call to be prudent. Start asking the tough questions and making smart, informed decisions about your financial future. Don't wait for the tremors to become an earthquake. Don't wait until it's too late. Because time is already running out. If you found this information valuable and want to learn more about how to navigate these uncertain times, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. In upcoming videos, we'll dive deeper into practical strategies that could save your savings, but only if you start taking action right now. Thanks for watching, and stay safe. Remember, when the crash begins, you'll either be among those who prepared or among those who lost everything. The choice is yours, and that choice needs to be made today.